Hi guys, welcome back to Rob's Arsenal recap, and I hope you're having a blessed and wonderful day. Now, today we're just going to talk about a few transfer news. Basically, the main transfer news of the day. We see that Football Transfers had made it an incredible claim that Arsenal are to enter discussions with Jorge Mendes over a possibility of Ansu Fati joining Arsenal. Fati does not want to leave Barcelona, but the Catalan outfit are keen to raise money themselves and are reported and the report claims that both Mendes and Barca's president Laporta will attempt to persuade the 20-year-old that leaving La Liga is in his best interest. Now, I see this as it would be a brilliant signing. Don't get me wrong, right? This player, Ansu Fati, is wonderful. Is potentially world class in a year or two. Is going to be world class if he keeps at the same level. If he keeps up the same injury record. Well, not the same injury record because he's been injured a lot for the last few seasons. But if he keeps up the same way he's playing, the same attitude, the same skill set, and not be fearful in terms of. Because as a skillful player, as a flary player, players, defenders and players will target you, will target to hack you down, and sometimes that leads to injury. So if you continue to be bold, continue to be brave, and do what he's already been doing, despite the psychological aspect of someone might hack him down and get him injured, then I believe in a few years' time it would be world class. However, for that position, because normally Ansu Fati plays on the left wing, and for that position, I think that we have enough in that department. I think we have a lock, stock, and barrel. We've got Martinelli, we've got Trossard, and also we got Kai Havertz that could also play in that position. So I don't believe that this is I believe that this is just a rumor, right? It's just that I don't believe this story is plausible. However, let's not take our eyes off it because he's been linked. Ansu Fati has been linked with Arsenal for almost the whole transfer window, and normally when you see things like that, there's always something to it, right? You never see smoke without a fire. You can't see smoke without a fire. So all these articles coming out about Ansu Fati to Arsenal, there must be something in it, right? Albeit it might not be a concrete interest or a concrete offer, but there must be some kind of interest for all these newspaper articles. It's not just one, it's not just two, it's quite a lot, especially today, linking Ansu Fati with Arsenal. And in other news, Monaco are close to a verbal agreement with Arsenal on a transfer fee for Florian Balogun, with a fee offered to follow and ahead of discussion payment terms. Balogun has already agreed personal term in principle. That's reported by Sky Sports chef. So Balogun, before I wanted Balogun to stay at Arsenal because for me he's one of those players that he can surprise you. He could surprise you in the future to be a very, very, very good goal scorer. However, this season, after seeing him in pre-season, I wasn't impressed. I think I've only seen one match. However, I was not impressed because, bearing in mind, he was scoring lots of goals in League 1 last season, and most of those were not most of them, but a few of them, not majority, but about 60%, 40%, 30 to 40% of them were penalties he scored, right? And this is it. Whereas anyone could potentially score penalties if you practice hard enough. It's not a hard job to do, especially if you were the one that mainly takes penalties in that team. You'll be practicing more and more to get better and better at taking penalties. So to score penalties adding to your overall goal, for me that's not a big deal. And some of the goals without that he scored, that's not penalties, it's just tap-ins. So for people been saying that we need to keep him over Eddie Nketiah, I can't see it. For me, Eddie Nketiah is more agile, he's more hungry, he's stronger, and for me, Eddie Nketiah is more of a direct player than Balogun. Balogun, he's got a few tricks and flares, but for me, is not the finished article. Don't get me wrong, neither is Nketiah. However, I believe Nketiah will reach that milestone of if he's gonna be a good player, he's gonna reach there before Balogun. If he's gonna be a great player, he's gonna reach there before Balogun. So Balogun is not a player that I would say, oh, let him go to Fulham or let him go to Crystal Palace. No offense to those teams, but they're lower down in the table, bottom half of the table. I wouldn't say Balogun is that bad, or I wouldn't say Balogun is that bad. I would say you can go to a decent side in a different league, in another league. Any league apart from the Premier League, he'll be doing a good job, right? But the Premier League we see is the best league in the world, it's the most competitive. So you have to be on your A game to play in the Premier League. So for me, if Balogun goes, I don't mind, as long as we have adequate replacement. Because we see these days that two strikers enough. We've got Gabriel Jesus and we've got Eddie Nketiah. But then again, we've got Kai Havertz. So for me, Balogun leaving and is not a big deal for me. And even if we don't replace Balogun this window, it's still not a big deal for me. I would get rid of Balogun and collect the money and invest in the squad. Otherwise, like perhaps we might need a right winger. Perhaps we might need a defensive mid, another defensive mid, in case Partey get injured, because we know that Partey is always getting injury. So yeah, for me, it's not a big deal if Balogun goes. Now on to the next news. Marc Guehi was one of those players considered by Arsenal back in May alongside Mohamed Simikan and Laporte, but then they decided to go for Jurriën Timber in a very clear way. As I previously said, Arsenal will explore the market to cover Timber, but at the moment there's no change, nothing concrete or imminent, says Fabrizio Romano. So Marc Guehi has been linked with Arsenal for the whole day today. So far, I've seen a few newspaper articles saying that Arsenal potentially might go in for Marc Guehi, and some articles are even saying that we will swap. There will be a swap between Marc Guehi and Takehiro Tomiyasu, a straight swap with perhaps a few add-ons. But for me, and another article still linking Gabriel to a move to a Saudi club, and even though Arteta said that Gabriel is part of his after the post-match interview after the Crystal Palace, Arteta said that Gabriel is still in his plans going forward. He's still a brilliant defender, and we see when he came on, he got the captain's armband, and I don't believe that's a thing to look past. Whereas if you're gonna give a player the armband, for me, it's like the second player in the second captain, because when Odegaard doesn't have it, then it's Gabriel. And to get rid of your second captain, the second best defender, arguable the second best defender, some would say he's better than William Saliba, but our second best defender, our second best centre back for me, it's not possible. I don't believe Arteta is that naive. I don't believe Arteta is that silly to be getting rid of our second best midfield defender. So for me, we're gonna keep Gabriel. And there's a potential that we might get another defender. It might be Guehi. We can't get Laporte anymore because we see Laporte went to, I believe, one of those Saudi teams, Saudi Arabia. And so we might get Guehi. We might get, there's a few other players out there. Pavard, I believe, went to Inter Milan. So we might get Guehi or another player. Even Freshneda is still on the market. Simikan. I doubt we'll get Simikan, because Simikan is a very good young player, and if we got a good young player to compete with Timber, it's just too much someone will be on the bench, right? And I don't believe Simikan will come to Arsenal to sit on the bench, especially when Timber comes back from injury. So I believe we might get a player as a backup to Timber, because he's injured now. However, when Timber comes back, that player, it might be an older player, or it might be a player that can play in more than one position. Even though Simikan can, I can't see Arsenal going out for Simikan, but Marc Guehi is a possibility, as well as even Freshneda, because even Freshneda, we got a link with him for the past season and a half. For the past season and a half, we've been linked with even Freshneda, so I believe he's a strong possibility. Why it keeps coming up on our radar. So those are the main transfers news of the day. Will Arsenal going for Marcus Guehi? Will basically Balogun go? to Monaco, or will he stay in the Premier League? Because we see Chelsea is trying to get him as well. Chelsea's offering 50 million, I believe, the last time I was seeing it, for Fowler and Balogun. So good luck to Chelsea. I would get rid of Balogun, not because he's a rubbish player, but because we don't really need him right now, and we can do with the money to reinvest in other areas of the squad. So that's the video there and then. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe and share, and leave a comment below. Catch you in the next video.